Good evening, everybody. I'm still getting used to this delay that we have when I use Zoom, but I love Zoom. So tonight's the 19th Facebook Live for the month 19 out of 90. My name's Alan Thomas, and I'm coming to you tonight really to talk about the shame of obesity. And to go back to my story I tell every night, but I want you guys to understand, because there's some new people that are watching that'll see this. In 2017, I saw the scales tip to 304 pounds. I was 55 years old. I married a bombshell, beautiful wife, and have four amazing kids. And I was 304 pounds. And 304 pounds to me spelled death in less than 10 years. I knew that I would be known as my wife's first husband. You know, you walk into these houses. I was in insurance for years and years. And you walk in these houses and you're talking to somebody who's a senior citizen. You say, "Who's this guy?" Well, that was my first husband. He died of a heart attack, or he died of, diabetes. And he was, 300 pounds. So it was really the obesity that ultimately killed him. And so I didn't want to be that guy. And I publicly committed to weighing 175 pounds in 260 days. And I hit it, actually committed to 265 days, hit it in 260. And I don't say any of that to impress you. I say it really to let you know that if you struggle with your weight, if your weight holds you back, which is so common in individuals that struggle with obesity, that there's hope. I've been there. I know exactly what you're feeling, and it can be different, but I promise you it's the same. And I've got this hippopotamus virtual background tonight, but kind of hiding in the water. I look for theme virtual backgrounds, so I'm having fun with that. But it's really not. I'm not making fun of this idea of shame around weight. I think it's something that needs to be brought to the forefront, really. So many of the individuals that I talk to, that I coach, individuals that, are right for my program, aren't right for my program. There's a common denominator that I see running so often. It's, the story. We all have this story, just like I had a story. And to give you a little perspective, this was me, this guy in the green shirt, this is me, currently. And so I understand shame. I mean, look at that waist. I mean, my God, you dress it up any way you can. You try to, when people ask you, "Are you concerned about your weight?" Well, yeah. And you talk about the health things, and, my knees hurt a little bit, my ankles hurt a little bit. And, I'm a little bit worried about, my breathing when I go up a flight of stairs. And, I'm worried about, this, and I'm worried about that. But really, when you dig deeper, I can tell you, this guy right here in the green shirt, he knew shame. And the shame of, walking into a room and people seeing you and thinking, "Oh my God, what's wrong with that guy? Why can't he control his weight?" Or, walking into a clothing store. Oh my God. And I owned a clothing store with two partners for 17 years. I was in that business for 25 years. And, I wasn't the size that I was in that picture of green shirt when I had the clothing store. But my goodness, the guys that came in that, they had to ask for the 44s or 46s or 48s. And it was a shame thing. And I don't say this to make some, out of ugliness to people who struggle with it. I say it because I think the real thing that liberated me was shining a light there. And I heard that today, and I said, I want to really talk about that in my next Facebook Live. One of my coaches was talking about the shame of a particular situation. It just applies to the weight loss. It applies to people with morbid obesity. They go to the refrigerator, and the shame around eating. I mean, when you know that you need to lose 50 or 100 or 200 or 300 pounds, it's easier to eat by yourself. It really is. You have this ravenous desire to eat, and it's just easier to eat by yourself because there's so much shame around it. You go through the drive-through at a Wendy's, you go get gasoline and you pick up 2 or 3 candy bars, and you really don't want your family to know you're eating them, but you just want to fill that void, and you're ashamed, and you get on the scales and it's gone up another pound, another pound, another pound, and it's in but it leads to this shame, not just around the eating, of in our businesses. I mean, we don't speak up, and I've talked about this before. We don't speak up. Our weight will hold us back. We will know that there's just this thing that makes us maybe not go for it as much in whether it's business. If you're single, I talk to individuals that are single, and they they're just ashamed to ask somebody out. They're ashamed to go find love, to have a relationship. It affects their wealth. It affects how they feel about themselves. Though a lot of people that are morbidly obese are on medication for depression. And again, I'm not a doctor or a medical professional. These are just observations I'm making, and you see these things happen, and it goes so far beyond what the number on the scale says. It goes way far beyond that. That's just a a calculation. When you get on the phone with these men, and ladies too, I mean, there's so much shame around it. To go to a high school reunion. So I don't know how many times I've heard people say, I don't want anybody to see me that knew me 20 years ago when I was a normal weight. I don't want to, I don't want to run into a friend. I just want to kind of avoid them. And I've been in that situation. I've seen people, and when you'd be in a department store, and we moved back to the Jacksonville, Florida area. I lived in Million Island, and I'd run into the people that I knew in junior high school, and they'd see me, and I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed at the size, and I was embarrassed for my children. My kids would hesitate. They wouldn't say it directly to me because they knew it hurt, and they would really not want me to meet their friends or the families because I was so fat. And in that, those kind of realizations, they pile up on people, and you get to this point as an obese person where you just don't think you can get past it, and you don't think there's a solution. You don't think that there's a way out. And, you try diets, you go to, so you buy into the, everything that comes on the television, every book. I've done it. I've been, God, I haven't been on every diet out there, but I've been on a bunch. And you go on all these different diets, and you think the diet's the answer, and you go along for a week or 2 or 10, and you get some traction, and then maybe have a setback, and you give up. Well, that didn't work. And you go back to eating because the eating's easier, because you feel bad, you feel depressed that you didn't lose and that you just didn't stick to the diet, and you didn't, since you didn't do that, you try to satisfy your emotions with something. So what do you go to? You go to food. So you go to the food, and then you go to the scales the next day, and then it's worse than it was the day before, and you're back in the cycle, and you're done. You're done. Now, next diet. You're looking for a solution where you can eat everything you want and lose weight. I mean, we all want to be rich and skinny. I mean, that's just the way it is. But when your weight holds you back, when it holds you back to the point that it stops you from stepping into the future that you're supposed to live, that's when it's a big issue. And that's what hit me. That's what hit me in 2017. And it was just like a light went off. It was actually like a bomb went off in my life. And it just nothing physical. I wasn't struggling with I didn't have heart issues. I was on a little cholesterol medicine that was so I was pretty lucky on genetics, but I knew it was a ticking bomb. And I knew that if I didn't do something about it, that I'd never get to live the life I was supposed to live. And I knew there was something I needed to do. What was crazy was the stuff I was supposed to do was help people, with their weight that held them back. And it's nuts. And, today I had one of the men, he's real vocal online because he's building an amazing business where he helps fathers who have the desire to be that stay-at-home dad, and be that dad for their kids. And he's a tremendous example. But he posted a video from a year ago, And it was wild because he's lost so much weight. He's lost so much weight. He looks like a different person, but it's not just that. It's just he's speaking up now. He's got I think he's got 2 podcasts. He's building a business where he's coaching dads. He's, you know, all these things that he was, I think, afraid to do because of the shame of obesity. Because it's almost like you look at somebody that's obese, and as an obese person, formerly obese person, you feel like they're looking at me and they wonder if they can trust me. If you can't trust me with you know, stewarding my body, my health, how could you trust me with anything else? And that's probably the biggest shame of all. And I used to joke about it. And a lot of obese people will joke about their weight, but buddy, it hurts. And I would go into, I know when I was in, you know, in sitting down with families for life insurance sales, I would talk about, you know, I'd make a joke, and my standard joke was, well, you know, you can trust me with your booze. I have a drink once in a while, but that wasn't struggling me. You trust me with your booze, your cigarettes, or your illicit drugs. You know, you can trust me with all that, but don't try to trust me with your donuts and your fried chicken. That was my line, and I got a big laugh because I was the fat guy. I was making fun, but it hurt. And so I know how you feel, but I want you to be encouraged. You know, these videos that I do, they're, you know, does it help me market my coaching business? Of course it does, but that's not just why I'm doing it. I do it because I care about individuals. Some of you guys will never cross my path, and that's okay. But maybe you see this video and you get hope and you take action. And that speaks to me. I want 10,000 individuals in the next 3 years to rescue them out of obesity. That's my declaration. I've said it over and over, but I want you to understand that there is hope. I mean, I look at Matt, who was video post day. I mean, he's a different person. I mean, he was hopeless. You know, I look at all the different people that you know, that have lost hope, and understand that you can be unstoppable again. You can be powerful. One of my other clients, he's this just powerful guy now. He's still got like another 20 pounds to go before he hits his target weight. But he's lost 50, but he looks like he's lost 100. I mean, he's a stud, and he just walks in the room and just commands it. And, you know, and so he's free. It's like he's got this beach confidence again. Guys, we live at the beach. We live, you know, a mile from the beach. And you know, when you're morbidly obese, you just want to cover it with a towel. You don't want anybody to see you, but you want to be there with your family. And so you can be there with your shirt off again. You can, you know, do all this stuff. It's possible. I want you guys to understand there is absolutely hope. It is not a hopeless condition. Is a diet the answer? Well, it's a little bit of the solution, but it is the small part of the solution. It is. Eating healthy is necessary, obviously, but I use this metaphor with people a lot of times. I tell them, you know, if you just look at the diet and the exercise program, it's a little bit like going to Lowe's or Home Depot and asking where the materials for the houses that will build themselves. It's just not going to happen. It's a bigger conversation. The diet and the exercise is the 10%. Is it important? 100%. Yeah, it's important. But is it the 100%? No, it's the 10%, maybe the 5%. Because it's amazing when the individuals take action and get on a program that they can follow and have a structured system that they can step into, that they will get results if they follow the yellow brick road. Are there things that they're going to have to do that are uncomfortable? Oh yeah. But whatever it takes, when you're to the point when you're so sick and tired of being fat, that's when you're at the point that I can help. And that's the people that I want, the ones that are hopeless. That's the ones I want, because when they're ready to do whatever's necessary, when they're coachable and decisive and they're resourceful, they're not going to give up. Because it's a marathon. You don't take off 129 pounds in 2 weeks. I mean, I did it super fast. It took me 8 months, but at the end of the day, it's a drag. You'll sit there and look at the scale and move as fast as you thought you were perfect. But you've got to have a support system. You've got to have something that goes beyond just the diet. And so that's why I came up with Rethink Dieting for Men. And I, you know, is it simple? Oh yeah, it's simple. Is it easy? No, not every day. Some days are, but is it worth it? Oh my God in heaven. And you know, I reached out to some of my clients last week to give me some reasons why they thought, you know, what we did was important, because, you know, sometimes you get writer's math. One of my friends is a pretty he writes a blog. He's got a podcast. He's, you know, got a pretty big following, and he told me about writer's math a long time ago. He said, Alan, here's writer's math. Writer's math is you get 1,000 positive comments to your blog, and then you get one negative comment. To a writer, that normally equals one negative comment. They forget about the 1,000. So it's easy for me to go into that mindset too. And so when I do that, I want to, it's not that I'm fishing for compliments. I just want to know if I'm serving people. And some of the guys gave me stuff that brought tears to my eyes. Now I'll cry at a Walmart opening, so that's not saying much sometimes, but it touched my heart that it meant a lot to them. And they weren't talking to me about, you know, oh, Alan, you know, you helped me lose 13 inches off my waist and yada, yada, yada. They were talking about the meaning and the purpose of their lives. And that just spoke to me. And it makes me know that there's others out there that can be served by this, that can be rescued from an absolute prison of obesity. So guys, if this resonates with you, and if you are stuck, and you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're coachable, and you're decisive, and you're resourceful, and you're ready to take action, and you don't want to go alone, because I'll tell you, going alone is tough. But if you want to go through the wilderness with somebody who's found the way through the wilderness, that's what I do. I know the way through the wilderness. I know how to do this. And go to transformmyfuture.com/apply. Transformmyfuture.com/apply. No, transformmyfuture.com/apply. I'll write it out in the notes, because like I said, it's a long URL. Or you go to freedom.com. Takes you to the same place. Book a time on my calendar. Fill out a short application so I know who the heck I'm talking to. And let me see if I can help. Today, I had a man on the call he's an amazing guy. He had some struggles. We worked through some things. I wasn't a fit for him, and I knew that. And I sent him somewhere that made more sense for him. And he's an amazing guy. He's gonna overcome his situation. But I want you to know that this isn't about me being a car salesman. This is about me seeing if I can serve you. And so if you're struggling and you're stuck and you need somebody that's been there, and you don't want to go to that individual. And I laugh about this a lot, but I hear this a bunch. I've heard this more than once. They say, yeah, a guy who's say 300 pounds like I was, he says, yeah, I just got tired of people who were 180 pounds that they lost down from 181, and they think they understand weight loss. They don't know me. I know where you've been. I know what it's like. Is it easy? Some parts of it are, but it takes a while. Is it simple? Yes, it is. And you don't have to do it alone. So go to transformmyfuture.com/apply. Reach out to me, comment on the video, share this with somebody. You know, 40% of the US population is obese. Maybe somebody just sees this, and this helps shake them up so that they'll go out and they'll change and live a different life, live the future they were destined to live. I tell people all the time, I help morbidly obese people overcome the weight that has got locked in that prison of obesity, so that they can go out and live the futures they are destined to live. So guys, till tomorrow, you guys have a great day. Don't be ashamed. Get out there and do something. Step out and take a chance. This is not I tell people, this is not about a diet. It's about a decision. Have a great night.